Hello Moana Exiles, Talkative Try here, back with another Path of Exile 2 video. I am going to prepare for PoE 2 by playing Diablo 4, the Vessel of Hatred. Yes, earlier on in my channel's life cycle, I did compare Path of Exile 1 quite a bit to Diablo 4, especially because Diablo 4 was releasing right around the time my channel was beginning to grow a little bit. And I decided, hey, why not also compare Diablo 4 to the in-development Path of Exile 2, because we were getting a lot of gameplay showcases, not quick cuts and the like. We were actually getting long periods of gameplay between 10 and 30 minutes. So I thought you could compare the two games. Well, I received a lot of pushback not only for comparing PoE 2 and Diablo 4, but Path of Exile 1 and Diablo 4. Now that Path of Exile 2 is releasing on November 15th, 2024 into early access, and Diablo 4 is getting its largest expansion yet on October 7th, I think that it is the perfect time for me to hop back into Diablo 4 and give it a 7th try. Yes, I've given it 7 tries so far. The longest I've played was Season 4, where I did have fun for a few hours, then I eventually petered out. I couldn't get into the endgame cycle. Now, as we prepare for Path of Exile 2, I'm going to give Diablo 4 a fair shot again. And I am going to live stream the entire journey on my Talkative Try Extras channel here on YouTube and on twitch.tv/TalkativeTry, beginning on the launch of the expansion, October 7th at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. One super cool thing that I'll be doing on the live streams is having on a variety of creators almost every single day of November leading up to the early access release, including some big name Diablo creators like Rax. Gonna be super fun, and I really hope you join in on these discussions with me. It's going to be wild for a few reasons. Let's begin with the first. This is obviously a big expansion for D4, and the game has been out for around a year. When I used to compare Diablo 4 to Path of Exile 1, people would always say, you cannot compare these two games. Diablo 4 just came out in June of 2023, and Path of Exile 1 came out officially in 2013. It had been in closed and open beta for 2 years before then, so I like to say 2011 is the unofficial release date for Path of Exile 1. Therefore, that game, Path of Exile, had been building up in its content mass, in its polish, for over a decade before Diablo 4 even came out. How can you compare the two games? The depth there is going to be far more. The amount of things to do in the game, the complexity, the items, the mechanics, the polish, just everything. The experience of the developers. You can't compare something like that to a fresh game, hot off the press, right? Made by one of the largest gaming developers in the world. You cannot do that. Okay, that's perfectly fine. I think people should see where this is going. Diablo 4 has been out for about a year now, just over a year. It's having its largest expansion yet on the 7th. Path of Exile 2 goes into early access, so it releases on November 15th, 2024. Over a year after Diablo 4 has been out. So, what does this mean, my fellow exiles, my fellow heroes of Sanctuary? Does this mean that Diablo 4 should be more polished than Path of Exile 2? Does it mean it should be deeper in terms of content? Does it mean it should be more fun? Possibly, in the eyes of some. I would argue that's not true, and I've been arguing that for quite some time. But I really want everyone who was attacking me and attacking people criticizing Diablo 4 to watch this video and tell me why I shouldn't compare Path of Exile 2 to Diablo 4 once more. I really want to hear the argument, because if the case that the more senior game should be better, then the case is Diablo 4 should definitely be in, let's just go with a more polished state than Path of Exile 2. And if it is, you will hear it from me. Okay? Now here's the second part that people always got heated about. Diablo 4 cannot be compared to Path of Exile 1 or Path of Exile 2 because they are not the same type, not targeting the same audience at all. You cannot compare these two games. One is an ARPG and one is an ARPG. Wait a second. One is an isometric ARPG and the other is an isometric ARPG. Okay, wait. One is a loot-based action role-playing game, and the other is a loot-based action role-playing game. One game is based on a franchise that has been around since 1999 in Diablo 1 and Diablo 2, Diablo 3, and the other is based on a franchise that's been around since 1999 and is based on Diablo 1, Diablo 2, and the mistakes of Diablo 3. Wait, okay, yeah, you're seeing where this is really difficult to talk about, right? What they're actually trying to say is Diablo 4 is made for a very different audience compared to Path of Exile. Diablo 4 is made for casuals, for people who have 72 kids, 22 wives, and 82 jobs to attend to. And Path of Exile just doesn't cater to that type of audience. I also have argued against that in a video essay I did about Path of Exile being perfect for gamer dads or casuals. I'll link it here in the description below. You can give it a watch. I give my take on that. I think that's not true. Succinctly, I think that Path of Exile is just a deeper game and it rewards you understanding more of it. Whereas Diablo 4, I think, is a very complex game that does not really reward you for understanding the systems. It is extremely easy. You can just drop into the game and slay monsters and you don't need to think about anything that you're doing. The last time I played Diablo 4, I didn't even press my healing potion and I was playing a druid, which apparently is one of the worst classes in the game. I didn't die, I didn't press my healing potion, it posed no challenge to me. I don't necessarily like that. And if you do like that, I think Diablo 4 is the game for you. But Path of Exile, on the other end, it rewards you understanding the game systems, and the longer that you play it, the better you become, the greater knowledge that you have in the back of your mind. And it really feels good gaining that knowledge over all the years. Diablo 4, I don't think that's the case. I think you have a minute advantage over others, and it doesn't reward you as much. So if you like that, then you can play Diablo 4, right? Well, I'd really like to see this compared to PoE 2, okay? Because Path of Exile 1, yes, it is a very deep game, lots of systems, lots of complexities. It rewards you a lot for your knowledge, and it rewards you for using tools outside of the game, guides on YouTube, third-party tools, websites, and so on and so forth. In PoE 2, there's supposed to be a lot of tutorialization and explanation in the game itself. From how passive tree tooltips will change your character, to actual videos and explanations of every single skill gem in the game inside the game itself. There's a lot of positive here. A lot of tutorialization that Path of Exile 1 did not care to add or elaborate on. And I really want to see how this matches up for new players or casual players to Diablo 4. So that is why I'm going to be giving Diablo 4 a completely fair shot, a clean slate. Even though I've played it 6 times before, the farthest I've got is level 70. Played through the campaign, tried to get into the Nightmare Dungeons, I just couldn't do it. Haven't played the Pit, have only played the Barbarian a little bit, the Druid a little bit, and the Rogue up to level 70. I'm going to be trying the Spiritborn on stream live, and we're going to go through the campaign. We're going to try to do the end game, see what that loot feels like, so we have a broader understanding of how this game plays when Path of Exile 2 comes out a month later. Because no matter what people might say, that I can't compare these two games, you know darn well that I'm going to compare them on this channel. Diablo 4 is Path of Exile 2's biggest competitor. Honestly, if we want Path of Exile 2 to grow, we want Diablo 4 to do better. Because believe it or not, and I know you'll believe it, Diablo has a much higher name recognition than Path of Exile. Far more people understand what you mean by Diablo or Diablo-like than when you say, oh, PoE or PoE-like. And the more people that play Diablo, the more people that will likely discover Path of Exile 1 or Path of Exile 2. A rising tide lifts all ships. I've said that over and over on my channel, and I encourage Diablo 4 to continue to grow and do better. I don't think it will ever be for me, especially with the open world style of ARPG gameplay, the co-op elements that they are 100% pushing on people. You need at least 2 people to do the new hardest content in the game, even though it doesn't have specific rewards that you can't earn outside of it in far harder ways. And the feel of the game just doesn't feel right. The animations feel janky to me. I know that's wild to say as a Path of Exile player. They just feel janky, especially the bosses. The monster design, it's not as diverse as I would like in a game. as it is in Path of Exile 1, as it's going to be in Path of Exile 2, which will have 600 plus unique regular monsters, not counting bosses. So there's a lot that I'm looking for here, a lot that I'm going to be taking note of and tracking so that when I play Path of Exile 2, I can do a fair and accurate competitive review of the two games. It's going to be really interesting. I'm really interested to hear if any of you exiles are going to play the Vessel of Hatred expansion. And if you're not, well, why don't you just come over and watch me play it live on Twitch. In fact, if you're watching this video right now, there's a good chance that I am live on Twitch or will be live on Twitch momentarily at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time today. So come on, join me. It'll be super fun. We're going to talk about Path of Exile 2 and Diablo 4. It's going to be a good time. Anyways, thank you so much for watching this video, my fellow exile. I will see you in the next one. Talakura, exiles.